alone. I'm divorced.
What was the biggest lesson that you learned from the divorce?
I think what I understood was that I had gotten married very young. I was 20. I feel that I didn't really understand what it meant to get married. It's a commitment for life. And if you choose someone that doesn't work out, it's sad.
Divorce is hard enough, but when there's a house involved, it can go from emotionally to financially draining. I've seen couples lose over $50,000 in equity just because they couldn't agree on what to do with the house. But if you handle this correctly, the house can actually be a clean break and not another battlefield. If you're in this situation or think you might be soon, you need to know who's going to get the house, how to sell it without losing money, and how to avoid turning one of your biggest assets in your marriage to one of your biggest headaches. Let me break this down for you very clearly. If you're going through a divorce, you have 4 main options that you can do regarding the house. Option 1, which is the most common, is simply sell the house, pay off all the debts and mortgages attached to the house, and you get what's remaining. This usually takes anywhere from 30 to 60 days in my experience. Option 2 is one spouse buys out the other spouse. So you're going to determine what the house is worth, and you will need good income and good credit to show that you can afford the house by yourself. A lot of the times when a couple buys the house, they usually put both their credit and both their income to be able to qualify. But in this case, you have to show that your income can qualify for the house by itself. You're going to refinance the loan and you're going to give your spouse their portion of the house. Option 3 is temporary co-ownership. This is where one spouse stays in the house, one moves out, you guys still own it together. Everything is written who pays for what. This is usually done when you have kids and you want the kids to stay in the same school district, stay with the same kids, or somebody is moving away and the other person wants to keep the house and maybe they can't afford to buy them out, but there's still some grace in the relationship. So one partner lets the other person stay, even though they still both own it and they can sell it at a later date. Option 4 is you can always sell it to an investor. This scenario is going to take 7 to 14 days if there's no title issues. You're saving on realtor fees. You can get your cash and move on quickly. So when selling to an investor, you might think that you're giving it away. I always tell sellers when selling to an investor, you might think that you're giving it away. But when you actually do the numbers, how much repairs the house have? What are the realtor fees? How long does it take to sell the house? Peace of mind. You're actually coming in around the same price as you would if you sold it with a realtor. The benefit of a realtor is you have a bigger buyer pool. So even if you sell to an investor through a realtor, you're going to have more options and more offers. But if you had a realtor, then you have to subtract the realtor fee from the investor's price. Another benefit of a realtor, of course, they can vet the buyers and make sure that these guys are legitimate. The most important thing that you need to do, whatever option you take, is you need to know how much your house is worth. You can ask a realtor for a CMA. That's called a certified market analysis. In my opinion, they should be willing to do this for free. If they're not willing to do it for free, it's probably a red flag. They should be willing to do it for free so they can earn your business. If they charge you, it should be anywhere between $100, $150, $50. It's really nothing. Or you can just give them a tip as a thank you. It's really nothing for a realtor to put your address in their software and it spits out what your house is worth. What you're paying for is the realtor's expertise, because just because the software says your property is worth $100,000, it takes a realtor's expertise to say, well, I know it's $100,000 on paper, but I think you can get $200,000 just because I know the area, it's a hot area, or vice versa. I think you can only get $50,000. The area is dying. The market is doing this or that. So that's what you pay for with a realtor. Another way to know how much your house is worth, you can get it appraised. This is going to cost you about $1,500 in my opinion. Those companies are usually used to working with lenders and banks. They're probably not going to be readily available to service you because they're going to have 30 to 40 properties that they have to service for the bank or the lender, and it's just inconvenience to do it for a regular person. Another way to find out what your property is worth is you can get 3 different offers from investors. If your house is worth $100,000 per se, the offer should not be far off from there. Another thing you could do is go to Zillow. Zillow.com is going to have a Zestimate. Ironically, Zillow, whatever software they have, they've been pretty accurate when I compare it to actually doing the analysis that I can actually do for you. But sometimes they're way off, and that's where the challenge is. But to know what your property is really worth through Zillow, look at what the Zestimate is, and then look at properties within a half-a-mile radius that look exactly like yours and see what they sold for. Not what they're listed for, what they're sold for. Look, divorce is hard, but if you make smart moves with your finances, you don't have to lose everything. If you're still on talking terms with your spouse, it's better to sell it before all the negotiations, because now you have to pay for an attorney, and that's going to take out of your equity. I would suggest selling the house if you guys are in agreement with everything, and then using that money to do whatever else you have to do. If you want an evaluation of your property to know what it's worth, if you'd like a cash offer, hit the link in my bio. Let's schedule a call and let's help your situation.